What up, what up? If you can touch your nose with your lips, tap like. If you can do this, tap like. You know what I'm saying? If the only time you eat raisins is in oatmeal cookies, Raisin Bran, and as a standalone snack, please tap like. If you have never graced your taste buds with the savory sweet taste of grape salad, please tap like. If you have used coconut oil in your food, your skin, and your hair, I need you to tap like. If you have ever used coconut oil in not one, but all three things, I need you to tap like. If you like women that smell like shea butter, I need you to tap like. If you enjoy when a woman walks past you or in the room and it smells like cocoa butter, I need you to tap like. If your wife listens to India RE, or your girlfriend, or your ex even, I'll give y'all some leeway. If your ex listens to India RE, I need you to tap like. If your ex listens to Jill Scott, I need you to tap like. Brothers, men, if you wouldn't mind dating someone like Jill Scott, I need you to tap like. Not even that. If you would actively pursue a woman that looked like Jill Scott or Lauryn Hill, I need you to tap like. If you love yourself and you love the divine feminine reflection of yourself, I need you to tap like. If God were to crack the sky and was a black woman and it wouldn't faze you at all, I need you to tap like. If you would be okay with that, I need you to tap like. Yes, I will follow you back, sister. Thanks for the support. We out here propagandizing Pan-Africanism and teaching brothers to love the sisters, sisters to love the brothers, not in an eros romantic, 69 God type of way. I mean as family. I mean as comrades first. And if you want more than that, then you're going to have to see them as comrades first. You're going to have to see them as our only ally first. That's the first step, is to humanize them. Absolutely, sister. If you know the smell of blue magic and a hot comb, I need you to tap light. If you know marshmallows go on yams, I need you to tap light. I just found out some of y'all be putting lobster in your mac and cheese. Who does that? Who has been doing that? Is this part of the culture that I missed out on? Cause we putting lobster in it now. I mean, I'll eat it if somebody with arm fat going to serve it. You know what I'm saying? Your arms gotta be real wide. She gotta be, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have them thick arms. Your arms gotta be sitting pretty. You know what I'm saying? The biceps gotta be moving. Your arms gotta look like the back of Cardi B. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You gotta, yeah. It gotta be hella arm fat before I try some lobster in my mac and cheese. But I know the seafood is good. It's just, my wife want to try it out. I don't know. Her arms might not be big enough yet. We still kind of young. I need that seasoned veteran of the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Used to cook with lard and all that.
Yo,
What?
what's good, homie?
Hi. I don't know your name, but give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Oh, okay. I'm 18, right? I'm a man. Why do I have to give
What's your
um
race?
my race? I'm mixed.
All right. So what do you identify as?
I don't know, half white, half Hispanic.
Hispanic's not a race.
Then
So
what the
you're a
fuck?
white Hispanic person.
Yeah.
All right. So you ain't mixed. You white. Talk
Oh,
to
that's
us.
it is. Oh, my bad.
And
I don't know shit. I hit in the
pronouns.
cart too
Please don't
much.
curse. Please don't
Oh,
come
my
up here
bad.
cursing.
My bad. My bad. My bad. G. Wait. So what are we talking about? Do all men benefit from a patri? What the hell is a patriarchy?
Well, that's a good question because I don't talk to people that don't know what the hell they coming up here to talk about. Get your ass off my live. Y'all need to stop playing with me today. Y'all need to stop playing with me today. Y'all need to stop playing with me today. If you don't know what we talking about, why are you requesting to come up? That's the weirdest thing. Please stop being weirdos. Please stop being weirdos, man.
What up, brother?
What's going on, Jack D? Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
40, black.
All
Mr.
right.
He, him.
Okay, talk to us, brother.
Do all men benefit from patriarchy? I don't think black men benefit from patriarchy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Reason being is that if you look at history, we have had female leaders um, running whole countries.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when we were in our natural condition, we had a more egalitarian way of running things. So getting back to that will heal a lot of the unnecessary scenarios that we find ourselves in with these gender divides and arguing against each other and stuff like that. It's just simply understanding that black women have always been the brains of our community. So putting them in positions that better represent their talents has always benefited us. And
Mm-hmm.
Queen Nzinga is one great representation of that. She ran roughshod over the Portuguese for about 40 years, faked her death, had them running wild and not knowing how to find her or mess up her army or any of that stuff. Um, and I think her story began because her husband broke down and started crying and wasn't really prepared to take on the Portuguese. And she was like, F that. Like, that's what we're doing and that's what's going on. So I just think us looking at history and looking at where we came from, what has actually transpired, understanding that as much as we have some amazing and great black male prominent leaders, they could not have done it without their wives, without their spouses, without their sisters, without their cousins, without the women in their life. So this whole concept is not our concept. The very word, since we're speaking German right now, English is a Germanic language. It's not even our fucking language, or our freaking language. Sorry, you don't want cursing. So to take that in consideration, look at history. As far as men, if you come from a situation where you didn't have your dad in the home, if you come from a situation where you had something turbulent with your mom, let it go. Go to therapy. Have conversations, but don't hold on to it.
That was impactful at the end right there. I know that's right. Cause some of this gender war stuff is just people that need to go to therapy. That's all that really is. You know your baby daddy hurt your feelings. Let's keep it a band. Your baby mama hurt your feelings, and you projecting it onto everybody else, making content, getting people secondhand trauma through your experience, and making them feel type of way about things that they've never experienced in their life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we're just sharing psychoses, sharing trauma, sharing pain, and then constantly trying to get on here and talk about it and making no actual strides in what we need to do for each other because we're too
Right.
busy arguing over the things we haven't healed from our childhood.
Woo. And from our childhood, right? That is facts, brother. That's a good breakdown of how that's working out. Cause mental health is important. And the reason I advocate for mental health over just therapy itself, because the lady they need to go to therapy. It's just for black men specifically. Where do you find a therapist that is decolonized enough to where they're not going to use the model given to them by a white man on what mental health looks like and judge you by that? Appreciate you, brother Kron.
I don't remember her name. I think her name's like Ivanka Van Zant or
Yeah, Iana Vazan.
yeah. Her. People like her. People that have that same background,
But
that
you
same
see what she
history.
is. She's a Yoruba priestess.
Yes.
Right. So that's another thing and that's what I would advocate as a form of mental health above in therapy is black men getting in touch with their spiritual side, and
Yep.
getting in touch with their ancestors. Every black man should have an altar to his ancestors, a sacred space in his house, to practice sacred history. That don't mean worship your ancestors. No African worships their ancestors.
Well,
Only the
I would,
white
I
man
would,
told
I
you to
will,
worship.
I'll actually give you a little pushback on that. We
For
still
what?
do, but just unknowingly. So the routine of that we know in like West Coast gang culture of pouring out liquor on the corner. That's your practice for priests is getting
No,
in
no, no.
contact and giving a pledge.
I wasn't. No, but see, that's what I was
Oh my
saying.
bad.
I'm not saying we don't revere. I'm saying, all right. What I'm saying is we do revere our ancestors. We do respect our ancestors. But I'm saying we don't worship our ancestors. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the nuance in what I'm saying is we're everything an African does is sacred. Math is sacred. History is sacred. And when we practice sacred history, that's when we revere, when we respect, when we pay homage to our ancestors. Ashe, we say, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So,
sir.
pour our libations out for the ancestors. That's what we do, but that's not the same thing as worship. You know what I'm saying? Like they do Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That blind, cut off all logic from your brain and follow in I don't even know the word, but just pedestalize. You know what I'm saying? Them. Like I look at my ancestors in a very human sense, as they were all human. They were very complex beings. I don't have to uh, put them in I don't know how to say this, but like a glorious
Supernatural place.
reframing. Yeah, right. Idolize. There you go. We don't idolize, right, and deify our ancestors, but we do respect them and pay homage. So absolutely. Um, thank you for that breakdown, brother.
All right, I'm gonna head back down. I appreciate your platform. I hope you get some good people coming up and get some opposition. Saying I don't know why you would oppose this, but here we are.
Yeah, It's very intuitive. Given the feminist framework has become so prevalent, it's very intuitive for a lot of people to say yes to this question.
I think it's because they're looking at it from the opposing view of like, well, what's the opposite of patriarchy is women running things, and not thinking about it from the aspect of like, no, us both running things, that there are going to be positions of power where men are, a man will be probably better suited for that role based off of his merits or credentials, things of that nature, and there are going to be opposite situations than to just give the person with the actual strongest lean in that direction the pass and give them the power, give them the right to do so. And 9 times out of 10 we'd come out ahead. I mean, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't be where we were with NASA without them getting rid of their ego and tapping into black women and
Yep.
having them do those complex problems. So
Yep.
same.
That's how I look at the design of the Tesla truck. Is Elon Musk tried to make it all straight lines as much as he could,
Yep.
but when he put those wheels on it, it had to be round. And understand that it's funny how the wheels are the black part of the truck, and you know what I'm saying. It's like
Yep.
no matter how much you try to stray away from the natural, order of things, you
You
still
can't.
got to bring it back to black and round. You know what I'm saying? Bring it
Oh yeah.
black around.
Thanks.
Same
But I
thing. Yeah.
appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna hop
All right.
down, let Matt get a turn, and
All right.
hopefully your panel and everyone else has a good night.
Yes, sir. You too, family. Peace.
Peace, bro.
All right. This is Matt. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
33, white, and I'm a man.
All right. Talk to us. Real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
Pronouns.
first of all,
Hold on.
yeah,
You said man, so I'm assuming he, him.
yeah,
Okay.
it doesn't matter. You could call me whatever. It doesn't really matter. But
All right.
yeah. So, what would be your definition of patriarchy?
A system of power where men are seen as dominant and women are largely excluded.
You think women are excluded? What do you mean excluded?
A system of power where men maintain control and women are excluded from that power.
Sure. But so women are not allowed to have power in a patriarchy, right?
Uh, Women are largely excluded from it, yes.
Do you think women, generally speaking, so I don't need I don't need anecdotal. I know a good leader woman, but do you think generally women are good leaders?
I would ask you that question.
Yeah, well, how about this? I'll ask you a little side question. Do you think it's good to lead with emotion?
Uh, do you think women lead with emotion?
That's not what I said. Do you think it's good to lead with emotion?
And I'm asking, do you think women lead with emotion?
Yep. Well, yes. Generally speaking, yes. So now, do you think that it's good to lead with emotion?
Do you think women are good to lead with emotion?
What's up, my guy? You don't like questions or what? I'm trying to
No,
ask you a
I don't.
question.
I asked them. You answer.
But I asked you the question and you deflected with a question. I'm just trying to understand your point of
I'm
view. That's
not
all.
deflecting. I asked the first
No hard
question.
feelings
You're
or
the
nothing.
one
I'm just trying.
deflecting.
But yeah, okay. So now I'm gonna ask you a question. I just answered your question. All right. So, do you think it's good to lead with emotion?
I don't answer questions on my live. It's just I have like two rules.
What? I thought you want
Introduce
to have a
yourself when you come
conversation, bud.
up,
I'm trying to have a
and don't ask
conversation.
those questions. I asked the
I'm trying
question
to
first.
talk, my guy.
What is the
I
purpose
thought this
of
is a
asking me
conversation for
questions?
adults. I didn't know we were. So I can understand your point of view. That's all.
I understand my point of view. I'm trying to
I'm just
understand
trying to
yours.
talk to you like an adult, man.
Oh wow.
I
To be
will
an
explain mine,
adult,
but I
when
want
I
to get
talk to
yours
you,
first.
I acknowledged I'm an adult.
But I'm just trying to
Wow,
understand
I'm
your
not a
point of
boy,
view.
guys.
Okay, ask me questions. Ask me. Fine. Okay, ask me questions. Ask me questions. Go ahead.
Okay,
That's what you don't want to
so
answer questions. I'll answer them. Go ahead.
okay, so do you think that women leading with emotional somehow makes them less uh, superior or less equal in society? Do you think it's an inferior way of being to lead with emotion?
Are you trying to ask me if they're less competent at leaders? Is that what you're trying to ask me?
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a better framing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, that's what I would say. Yes.
Okay. And why do you value leading?
And I'll explain. Because leading with, why do I value? I'm sorry, I didn't hear with the last part.
Why do you value leaders, or why are we talking about leadership as far as patriarchy? Like, why are we talking about leadership? Is leadership a value?
Isn't it about men having control? Men being the decision makers, men being in control and having power?
It's about a system of power
Isn't that what
in which men
Sure.
maintain control and exclude women from it. But that doesn't mean it's the only power. And that doesn't mean men control.
So what do they exclude men? What do they exclude women from? They just exclude women from the positions of power, or from the society together?
They exclude women.
Like when you say exclude, do you just mean like, yeah, go ahead.
They exclude women
From the so I'm trying to understand, from the positions of power, or just like in general from society?
Okay, so I think you're going too broad. You're looking very macro.
But yeah, this is what questions are for. This is
Right.
what question. Well, I'm trying to understand. That's why I ask you
clarifying
questions, but you don't like questions. So,
I understand the clarifying questions, and I'm trying
but
to.
I'm trying. Yeah. I just want you to elaborate because you said something, but I'm not really sure what you mean by that. So I'm just trying to ask you a question. That's all. So, when you say they exclude them from the patriarchy, do you mean society, a patriarchal
Matt.
society as a whole,
Matt.
or do you mean just from the positions of power?
Matt, I'll answer your questions because he's the host.
Please do. Please.
So what's your question, buddy?
So when he says that the patriarchy excludes women, I want to know, does he mean just from positions of power, or does he mean from society as a whole?
From society as a whole, from certain aspects of
And-
positions of power.
Okay,
And they try
so-
to relegate them to aspects that they deem worthy of a female presence.
Okay,
Like the
so
kitchen.
so what I'm trying to elaborate. So name a position, name a position where they are excluded. Like what?
President.
I mean, are they not allowed to work?
Presidency.
Not allowed to have jobs?
President.
Is that what you mean?
Leading of countries, leading of armies.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this question because the host didn't want to answer. Do you think it's good to lead with emotion?
No, but since women aren't just simply emotional beings and they're capable of doing complex math and logic, you can't simply just assert that because they're female that they're going to lead with emotion. That's
Sure.
a
No,
fallacy.
I
And you're
never did
leading
that.
with a fallacy.
I never said that. Hold on.
No,
I never
you
said
did.
that. I just asked you.
You led with
I
a
asked you a
fallacy.
question.
The
asked you a
question is
question.
loaded.
How is that loaded? I asked you a simple
Then I'll
question.
answer the
I'm
question
gonna-
directly.
I'm
No, it's
going
not
to
good to
expand
lead
on
with
it
your
now.
emotions. No, it's not
Yeah,
good to lead
okay,
with your
great.
emotions.
Good. So I'll expand on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think, generally speaking, women are much more emotional than men? Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, women are not more emotionally than men. They are more in
Now we
touch
can't have
with
we
how
can't
they
have real
feel.
conversation if you're not going to be truthful. That's crazy.
No, we're not. We're
They-
being very truthful. I
I'm
know a
being,
lot of
dude.
emotional-
If you listen to what I'm saying, if you actually calm your emotions down and listen to what I'm saying, they are
Yeah, go
more
ahead.
aware of their emotions. Their emotions are more present in how they think and how they feel. They're more readily accessible. Men are able to compartmentalize their emotions. Women are able to feel their emotions at the same time and still work through
And
them
act
as
on
they are
them or
feeling them.
no? Do they act on their emotions more and
Go ahead.
emotion? What's that? So, do they act on their emotions more
No, I
and do
didn't
their
hear you. Go ahead.
emotions? Yeah. So, would you say women act on their emotions more and their emotions control their actions more?
No, they don't act on their emotions more because we would have a lot more impulsive, violent crimes from women, which we actually have.
No,
that
that's
more
not
from
true.
men.
That's not true. Women are not violent.
That's
like
acting
men.
emotionally, my guy.
Yeah, but that women aren't
What are
as
you
violent
talking
as men.
about? I know what acting emotionally is. It's being erratic.
It's not
doing
just
something
violence. Acting
spontaneous. If
emotionally
that
is
was
not
the
just
case,
violence.
I know it's not just violence. It's also in raising
so
your tone.
that's
but at the same
irrelevant, though,
time,
because
men
women
raise
aren't
their tone,
violent
so
like
it's
that.
irrelevant.
But women are not violent like that, so they wouldn't be more violent if they were more emotional. That doesn't make any
Yes,
sense.
they are. Women are human. They're just as violent. They don't do it because they don't
They
want
are
to have
not
the
just. Are you
violence
really
of
think
a
women
man.
are? Come on, dude. You're smarter than that. I could tell you're smarter than that. Women are not as violent as men. It's not
Women
even
are
close.
capable. Let me hear the words that I'm using.
No, they're not even
Women,
capable. No, they're not even
yeah,
capable.
yes,
Yes,
dude.
they are.
Okay,
Absolutely
yes,
not.
they are.
Men are stronger.
Okay, then
Men
women
are more
shouldn't. Then
aggressive.
there'd be no women boxers. There'd be no women Thai fighters. There'd be no women Taekwondo fighters. There'd be no
Why do
women
they have separate? Why do they have separate
professional
leagues?
shooters. Like I can keep going, dude. Like what are you talking
Why do they
about?
have separate leagues?
Because women and men
Why are
have
they
different
separated?
strengths, dude. Are you serious? It doesn't mean that
And
they're
men are
not
more
as
violent and
capable of
aggressive.
violence.
I'm not talking about a few women that can
Bro,
box.
you're
I'm
not
talking
smart
about
enough for this
generally
conversation.
speaking.
I hate to
Generally
break it to
speaking,
you.
you're
You don't
being
have enough
disingenuous.
information for this conversation.
You're being disingenuous, and you know it's true.
How am I being disingenuous by answering
Because
your questions
women are
directly?
way less violent than men.
I
Generally
think
speaking, all women.
Why
Jack,
is that? Probably because
Jack,
they have more control over their emotions.
No,
let's
it's testosterone. It's a lot of things.
let's try to get a deep
They definitely do not have
and
more control over
clear
emotions.
understanding of what Matt is trying to convey to us about what he thinks about this topic. Let's try to understand him so that we can study and learn more. Matt, could you please
Yeah.
enlighten us more about why you think it is men are more violent than women?
It's not a think. This is not debatable. There's so much evidence. We've been studying this for decades and decades and decades. This is just common sense. This is science. Women are not as aggressive or violent as men. Women usually, when they get angry and they want to get payback, they do it by the reputation. They talk gossip. They do stuff like that. Men get violent. That's just generally speaking. It's just a fact.
Okay. So, do you think that violence is only uh, displayed through physical acts? Like, do you think the only way to exert
So
violence on someone is
how?
through a physical act?
Yeah, but we were talking about physical, but no, women tend to use emotional violence over physical violence. But that's again not violent as far as attacking, as far as strength. That's just emotional trauma. That's emotional abuse. That's what they tend to do. That's when they spread gossip. They talk about girls. They do that kind of stuff. They're not as likely as men to cause
Emotional
physical violence
violence
or
is
harm or anything
interesting.
like that.
Emotional violence is
But I don't
interesting.
mean I don't think emotional violence counts as violence in my opinion. But they do. They use emotional damage. It's not
Okay.
really violence, but
Emotional damage. Would you say that black women do this more or white women do?
do what? Emotional violence or emotional damage?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, just violence in
Yeah,
general.
I don't know.
Just violence in general.
Yeah, well, no women. Yeah, no women
Which woman
do
is
any
more
physical
violent?
violence, generally speaking.
If I have a white woman
You
on
asked
this
me if
side
black or white
and a
women are more
black woman
violent? I
on
don't
this
know.
side, which woman do you think would be
I'm
more
not
violent?
making it about race. I have no idea difference in race. I'm just talking about men versus women. I have no idea race wise. I have no idea. But men versus women, men are way more physically violent. It's not even close. It's not even a debate.
Why don't you know about race, but you know so much about gender?
Well, what does that matter? What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything?
What
Are we
doesn't?
talking about men versus women?
No, we
What are you
said
talking about? Are you drinking?
no. I actually don't drink.
Okay, I'm just making sure. So it doesn't have anything to do with anything because we're talking about men versus women. I don't know what black women versus white women has to do with anything. They're all women, aren't they?
Say versus. I'm
I'm
saying
talking to all of them.
yeah, but there's a thing called common sense and intersectionality. I mean, if you know so much research about patriarchy, how do you know nothing about race?
Well, because what does that have to do with patriarchy?
Everything.
Okay, explain that.
Why do you think that the two are mutually exclusive?
Because patriarchy is nothing to do with race. It's a male-dominated society. It's a male-led society. That's what that means. It doesn't say a white male, black male, anything. It just says male. So I don't know why you're bringing race into it at all.
Which society
The-
came up with the idea of patriarchy that men run everything? Which society
What does
conquered
what does that
things?
have to do with?
It
What
has
does that have
everything to do with
the?
because we're running off of those rules, dude. So if you're saying
I don't know.
it's what society
You?
created and that society conquered and created the idea, and now the people that didn't once believe in this and now have to believe in this because the prevailing
What?
conquered society did this. What else what else are we supposed to think? So that's the
So
question.
where did you tell me then? Where did it come from? Who invented
It
all that
came
stuff? Go ahead
from
and
people that came from Europe that were in Rome that had this idea that men ran everything. They didn't look at
Do you
other
think that
cultures
third world countries that you think that third world countries that don't have any of that never had a patriarchal society? You
Is that
think
a serious question? Because you do
yeah, you
know
think a
some third
native
world countries currently are ran by men,
Wait.
right?
Hold on. Define third
yeah,
world
that's my
countries.
point. That's my
Define
point.
third world countries.
Do you think that okay, let me ask you this question, I'll be specific. Do you think an indigenous tribe in the Amazon rainforest is a patriarchy or not?
No, it's a matriarchy. You ever
Okay,
heard of
how so?
Amazons? You ever heard of Amazons? Amazonian?
You mean
Amazons? The Amazon.
are you
Yeah.
talking about the fictional characters or are you talking about the real ones?
Well,
So again, I'm talking about yeah. So answer my question. Are there societies male led or are they female led?
Before we even get into this, do you know what the phrase
Right, I wouldn't
matrilineal?
answer either if I were you.
You know what the phrase matrilineal society is? Because
Well,
if you don't know
why are
what
we
that is,
skipping
you
my
don't.
question? Why are we skipping my
Because if you
question? I
don't
can't
know
answer
what
it.
that is, you can't even begin to ask that question because you're missing actual information that you need that you can actually use to answer your own fucking question.
Well, how about you just tell me in the answer to my question? How about you just do that?
Do you want me to tell you what a matrilineal society is? Do I really need to
Please
do
and
that?
thank you.
There's
Please and thank you.
societies that are run by women, thus the name matrilineal.
Okay.
That they have the
Okay,
input,
so
the guidance, and the leadership of their women.
yes. So okay, you think a patriarchal society doesn't have guidance from women sometimes?
No,
Okay, well, you've
because
never
if you
been in one,
kick
I
them out
guess.
of the spaces in which they could have guidance and you relegate them to the spaces that you deem them worthy of giving guidance to, then no, dude.
What
What
about
the
in a
heck?
home? What about in the home? If you have a
Depending
patriarchal
on,
home, do you think
depending on that depends on the man. If the man wants the woman to give them more ability to speak freely, then yes. Because it's, again, you're dealing with a patriarchal
okay, so
society where
you
the
skipped my
man
question. I just want to get back
controls
to the
them.
question so we don't miss it. Okay, so I get that. So it's a woman-led society, female-led society. I get it. So back to my question now. If you were to go into the Amazon, find a tribe that has never even talked to outside people, they have no idea what patriarchy even means. Do you think that their society will be male-led or female-led?
Is that a question for me?
I'll answer it.
Anybody can answer. Anybody.
This is what I'm trying to tell you, Matt. We don't answer questions. We want to know what you think.
Yeah, I wouldn't either if I were you.
This is not debate talk. So we don't answer. We
This is
don't
what I think. I think.
tell
Okay,
us.
I'll tell you what I think then, and you just tell me if you agree or disagree. Okay, so
All
I
right.
think that every single tribe you run into will be male dominated and male led. Every single one.
And why do you think that?
Because that's how every society has been since the beginning of the earth, and that's the way it should be. We have all these problems now because it's not a patriarchy anymore. In America, at least. I don't know where you guys are from, but
So you're saying, ever since the beginning of mankind, men have led society.
I mean, I'm sure there's an exception or two out there, but yes, almost every single one.
Really? Okay. And so,
Yes, because men are better
why is it?
protectors, men are better providers, men are better. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Why is it that the first male deity didn't come into existence until about 3,000 years ago?
Well,
You're not good at conversation, are you? What are you?
okay.
Can you stay on topic? I'm trying to
History.
talk to you.
No, I know, but I'm saying,
Well, I'm just trying to have a conversation, but you guys don't know how to do
why do
that.
we have so
Matt, you
much?
keep jumping all over the place. Can you calm down?
I literally am not. I'm just trying to get answers to simple questions. I'm trying to talk
I
about
know,
what's
and
on
I keep
topic, but
telling
they
you to
keep going
stop
to other
asking
things.
questions and just say what you
Right?
want
Yeah,
to
you
say.
don't answer questions. I wouldn't either.
That's
I
a
get it.
white
I get it.
supremacist tactic. These honkies come up and they try to act like they can't answer
White
a question.
supremacist tactic to ask
Yeah, that's what
questions.
it is. They
Can't
can't
get them.
answer. They can't
Okay.
answer
All
a
right. All
question
right. I guess.
because they're so afraid of what's
So
going to
so
happen
no.
when they come up here and say what they really trying to say. If they were to do that, they would sound like a bigot. Appreciate y'all for the Panther pause. Thank you very much. They come up here and they're afraid to say the loud part out loud, but they would rather come up here and just, you know, ask a question or two, act all confused like they don't know what's going on, ask a bunch of clarifying questions. I've had 3 of them marshmallow men come on my live today and start asking me a bunch of questions. Remember, y'all, the B1 code says we are not here to educate them. They're here to educate us. What would it look like if you was playing chess with somebody and the person you playing chess against sat on your side of the table next to you and said, "Hey, I'm just here to learn. What's your next move going to be?" Why do you think that should be your next move? I'm just here to learn. Because they're going to take it back to their community. We don't do that labor. Exactly, Black is Beautiful. We don't do that labor to give them ammunition into how to combat us, but we instead should be asking them the questions. I don't got no answers for them. But let's go to the next guest. Plant Dad, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
How you doing? It's Rodson. Sorry, give me the questions again.
Your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
All right, age is 30, pronouns he, him, and race black,
Talk to us.
Haitian, African American. Yeah.
All right.
So as regarding to the question, I do believe men benefit from the patriarchy. It
Says all
This is my
men.
first time. Yeah, it's do all men. I believe they do more so because we see where we are now, especially with what's going on in today's society, the world that we're in, or at least in America. We live in a time where men govern everything. Unfortunately, like look at the rules and laws that are about to be passed down. I think it's was it Project 2025? I believe that's coming out, and it's one of the biggest things. A lot of it is governing around women's rights, women's health, what they're able to do and what they're not able to do, and women have no say in it at all. And coming from in the past couple of months, I've been doing a lot of my own research and just kind of studying up on things, just on just men in general, because I saw things used to be that I was in a whole my way is right, things are this way. Like I never really saw things any other way, which is where I feel Matt kind of, not to bash him, I'm not trying to bash anybody, but a lot of men don't necessarily have the views or want to have the views of listening to other people, especially if they're told that they're wrong about something. And I feel like we suffer and we lack that intelligence of, okay, well, I'm wrong, let me sit down and listen to what they're trying to tell me. Let me understand what's going on and why they're saying what they're saying. Women do, as for your question about do women lead with emotions, they do, and they are more in touch with their emotions and therefore are able to make, I want to say, better judgments than we do. Because if a man gets upset and a man gets angry, they lash out in a pretty bad way. Whereas women, I don't want to say tend to, because I don't have any research done, so I will not speak on that. But from what I've seen, it's different from how women react.
I'll be honest. I mean, I guess I don't know. I struggle with that point of view. That women lead with emotions more because I got 6 sisters, and I'm the emotional
Hmm.
one. I'm telling you, I like something will go down. I'm throwing fists, and they the ones telling me to calm down, and I'm like, how can you calm down right now? Like, I don't even. How are you telling me to chill? You didn't hear what this guy just said, like,
Hmm.
But I hear
I feel like
you.
I'm still trying to, yeah, I feel like I'm still trying to grasp or at least say what I'm trying to say better. I apologize if I said that wrong, then I take that back. Um, I just feel as though women are more in tune with their emotions is where I'm going with
I
that.
want to speak more to men than women
Hmm.
because that's
Okay,
what this
yeah.
vibe is
So
about. Um,
okay,
when
yeah.
you say all men can benefit from patriarchy, in what way do you as a black man benefit from the patriarchy?
Oh no, no, I don't believe we benefit from it. I'm saying I feel like that's where we are right now. Um, it's we lead right now, like I said, in a manosphere, and it doesn't really do
We
us
lead right now.
good. I think so. I'm like I said, this is all new to me, so I
So you're
be one
talking
hundred
as a
percent
black
wrong.
man, you think that we
Hmm.
lead in patriarchy. in the manosphere. Think of the ways that women are subjected to patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And then think about the statistics and the mistreatment that you know about black men. What are some of the ways?
Mm-hmm.
Name a few ways. Name a way that a woman is subjected to patriarchy, misogyny, and sexism. Anyway, for example, I'll bring up one. They get lower wages and they have workplace di- uh, discrimination. Workplace discrimination. Women are discriminated in the
Yes.
workplace, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who is the most discriminated in the workplace? Who's the most discriminated demographic in the entire United States in the workplace?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what demographic that would be?
The black woman.
Black men.
Oh, really?
Black men are the least employed demographic in America. Let's think of another one. What another way that women are vilified? When a woman is assaulted by a man, they say, what was she wearing to try to justify why,
Yeah.
something happened, right?
Yeah. And it's definitely
Okay.
not anywhere near right. Mm-hmm.
When a black man is assaulted by police, what did they say about Trayvon Martin? They said,
What was
"What
he
are you
doing out
wearing?"
that day?
What was he
Mm-hmm.
doing out that late? What was he
Mm-hmm.
wearing? He was wearing a hoodie. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Women can wear certain clothes and be called unprofessional. Black men can be wearing certain clothes. Black men could be wearing a hoodie. Let me wear a hoodie to court and think I'm Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg wore a hoodie to Congress. He went to go sit down with Congress wearing a hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
I would never. Black women are also uh, vilified and mistreated because of the hair that grows out of their head and what hairstyle they wear. The Crown Act wasn't just for the sisters. In all of these ways that I'm mentioning, the perpetrator is men, but it's a specific kind of man. Patriarchy is supposed to grant men the power to maintain and control certain systems. However, if we truly lived in a patriarchy, there'd be just as many Obamas as there is Joe Bidens when you look at the list of presidents. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Patriarchy
Yeah.
has an intersection to it. Talk about intersection in terms of who's oppressed, but we rarely talk about the intersection of the oppressor. And that we don't live in just a patriarchal society. We live in a white patriarchal society. And the idea of patriarchy was something created by white women to throw the scent off herself and to give black women the false sense of allyship that the white woman was an innocent bystander in the oppression of black people. But that might be, further down the rabbit hole.
No, that's still something to look forward to. I mean, I just discovered just got on your page, and like I said, this is something I've been wanting to look more into. So the
I'll
education
give
is
you a
very
book.
helpful.
I'm known for giving books, brother.
Oh,
I'll give you
please.
a book on black male studies by Dr. Tommy J. Curry. The book is called Man Not, because he's talking about how even if you do include black men in terms of patriarchy, we don't
Mm-hmm.
benefit from it, and that's been made clear. But also, when they created the Constitution and said all men were created equal, your grandfather was in chains. These people don't consider us men, and that is why we aren't considered part of the patriarchy. That's why we don't have the power to exclude women from power. You can't name one black-run patriarchal institution. You could almost give us the church, but even at the top of the church is white Jesus and the white man that introduced Christianity to us in the first place. I mean, of course, you could say Christianity originally was an African spiritual practice that formed into a religion, but that's not the practice of most churches. Most churches are not practicing ancient African Christianity. So, we could talk about it more, but patriarchy is the reason black men are deemed a threat by police and discriminated against in the workplace. And for us to say that black men do benefit from patriarchy is harmful because it gives black men the idea that they can co-opt a power that was meant to be wielded against them and is actively wielded against them. And it gives them the idea that they can wield that power against black women to their own detriment. Because when it comes to intersectionality, anyone considered black was considered non-human. We're not considered men or women in the eyes of our oppressor. We're just considered black, and that's as far as they go.
I appreciate that.
All right, let me go to the next guest. Appreciate you coming up. Rashad, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? I'm Rashad, 23, he, him, black. And yeah, it's just, for one, I like to say that that talking point about women being more emotional than men, if you are an intellectual man, and if you are actually deconstructing patriarchy, you will drop that talking point, because that is very dehumanizing, in my opinion, on women. So I think it's imperative to drop that talking point. I don't think you would use that in a conversation with any sister, period. So yeah.
I've seen women compose themselves much better than brothers do.
Man, I've seen some emotional men, like, if you live in reality, that's just not a talking point that's productive at all. Even if you want to say things like women have more in tune with their emotions and things like that, but to say women are more emotional than men, because you're using it in a context where you're saying that women can't logically, like, it's just an excuse to say women can't logically have a thought out process and think like a person, so they can't lead or they can't make decisions on their own like a child. I think that's very dehumanizing. But do all men benefit from patriarchy? No, because I'm a man and I don't benefit at all from patriarchy. And in fact, patriarchy makes me, it turns me into, I don't want to say, patriarchy convinces black men that our women aren't our partners; they're more so our servants, and that's what I think that's the thing we learn from, you know what I'm saying, the dominant society. That's how they treat their women, and that's why you see certain women in their society act the way they do in regards to their men, because they're treated so badly, right? Historically, we have never treated the black woman like that. The black woman has deity in our teachings, so it's just really the opposite from where we come from. And I think it's so important that black men deconstruct their patriarchal, thought process, because we cannot partner with our women if we think like this. If we treat them like they treat their women, we would never go anywhere, because we need them, and they are essential to our lives. They give us life, right? So you can't be productive and have these types of thinking points. So no, we do not benefit from patriarchy. We must be the men to say, hey, we're not going to allow this anymore. We're not going to think like this. We're not going to subject our women to second class citizenship.
When the white man is not around.
Yeah, when
And
yes,
that's the thing. None of us is the patriarch when the man come to town. When the man
exactly.
come around, I can do all manner of wickedness to my wife, but let a police officer look like this walk in the. Am I still the man? Shoot, you seen the movie Crash?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's a good one. Dang, how many of y'all seen the movie Crash? With
What era is it?
what?
What area is it? How new is it?
Oh, that's like '08.
Oh wait, okay.
Yeah, Crash is a good movie, but if y'all seen the movie Crash, Terrence Howard gets pulled over, and I think Zoe Saldana is his wife, and he get out the car because you seen what happened with the police officer and the police officer touching on his wife, and he can't do nothing about it. That
Mm,
speaks to what happened a lot on the plantation.
dang.
That speaks to a lot of what happened on the plantation because that patriarchal institution, the police, is the same as the patriarchal institution, the slave catchers. And
Yes, sir.
so the patriarchy wasn't something you could see in plain sight. Him being a man didn't benefit him in that moment. You know what I'm saying? She was worried about his life. He worried he's gonna lose his life, and then his wife is getting felt up in front of him, and he can't do nothing about it. And that's the thing. So whenever black people argue, whether it's with men and men or women and men or women and women, whenever we argue under the context of our oppression, it is only because we're trying to assert dominance over the other one. We
Yes.
have no reason to argue. There should be no conflict. I know we like to debate and have disagreement. That's okay. Sometimes that helps you get to a resolution, and that's part of our culture. But it should never get to a point where we're disrespecting each other and trying to assert dominance.
Mm-hmm.
Because asserting dominance it just speaks to our powerlessness. Black men have been deemed powerless, but also through patriarchy or through the lens of patriarchy have been promised that they had power. So
Yeah.
now, because they've been taught a man has power, but you ain't got power, boy, they come home to a black woman and think they have to assert their dominance to prove to themselves that they have power, the same power that he got. Because how does he assert his power? He asserts his power by owning his woman and mistreating his woman.
Yep.
So we look at power through his lens and think that patriarchy is going to benefit us, and we try to be like him. And we try to assert power the same way he does onto our women, to our own detriment, because at the end of the day, we ain't got no more power than we had before we did that mess. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. I
know,
think it's just so I can tell how far you are in your journey when you bring up talking points about women being more emotional and you know this guy said since the beginning of time men have led societies. Oh my God.
you know what that is? That's that Eurocentric history where they
Yes, sir.
think they project onto history and they project onto the world what they themselves think and what they themselves have done. They project it on everybody else. They think that they're the default, right? So they think they're the default human. So anything that goes through a white man's mind is obviously what went through all men's mind and what every man has done. And we know that's not true for the continent of Africa. Shout out to the ancestors. African men were the first to ever write into law that you must respect women.
Yes,
African
sir.
men were the first to ever deify and look at black women as gods. Just let that sit. And he's going to come up here and say patriarchy has always run, society ever since the beginning of man.
The
Because to
ignorant.
him, the beginning of man is ancient Greece.
Yeah. Zeus.
Yup.
And even when you look at Asia, how they kind of treat their women, it's a little I don't you can't even
Mm-hmm.
look up at a man's eyes. You have to just put
Mm-hmm.
your head down when they walk past. Like we never had that
We didn't
until
have to because we came from environments where you didn't have to have this physical prowess in order to eat. Like you could just grow it out the ground. So women were able to kind of provide for themselves the same way men could. Like you just got to plant a seed in some soil. We in Africa, this is the richest soil you could plant with. Like you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? We was agricultural. They're Asians, Russians, and Europeans. They're from harsher environments and harsher climates where the man would have to go out and hunt and come and bring the food home. You
Yeah.
know, so yeah, so that's the thing. But yeah, let me go to the next guest real quick. Hot dog, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hey, I'm 23. I'm black. They them. Um, I've been here like 5 minutes, and I'm realizing just how thoroughly uneducated I am. So I appreciate you. Um, but I guess I think I might have a misunderstanding of what patriarchy is. Then, like, so what would you call it when you see like misogyny inside our own communities? Is that not patriarchy or?
That's not patriarchy. Misogyny is the mistreatment of women based on their gender, and or I would say the mistreatment of
Femmes?
yeah, right, feminine, right. That's what I was about to think. Like I was just trying to find a way to word it, but yeah, you know, vilifying and seeking to maintain control over feminine, um, you know, people with feminine qualities, and and that's what they. When it comes to misogyny, the difference between misogyny and patriarchy is systemic misogyny. So patriarchy is a system of power that men maintain and control and excludes women from power. Misogyny, of course, that's something that's always existed, even in Africa. Misogyny and misandry, but misogyny, of course, has more power in a male-dominated patriarchal society like the one we live in. But in our own community, I would say the black men perpetuate patriarchy based on their idea of masculinity and their idea of women given to them by their oppressor. Because in a lot of our societies, we had even more than more than two genders.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? Like this whole man versus woman thing was something that was going on in Europe, but our ancestors on a plantation disconnected from their customs, language taken from them, history erased from them. Oh, okay. All right. There you go. Sajes did it. Put the definition down there of
Okay.
misogyny. But they had their memory wiped of who they were and how they defined people groups before they came to America, and their only idea of manhood and womanhood was based on what they saw on the plantation from their master and mistress. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So I think it was Angela Davis, but would you agree with her in her coining that term, the black woman being like, I think she called it super exploited, right? Would you agree with that?
No.
Because I've been in light of Angela Davis's recent BSery, I've been rethinking a lot of what she's written.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know, I don't know anymore, because
Angela Davis, Bell Hooks,
yeah.
both sisters. I feel like they've opened my mind up some. Alice Walker, they've opened Gayatri Spivak even. They have certain frameworks that I think can be useful. However, I find that they're using the Euros. They don't take a look into the invention of patriarchy. They just stop at the patriarchy. They don't look at the conditions that went on in Europe to create patriarchy in the first place,
Hmm.
which was women that after there was a lot of war going on in ancient in not ancient but Europe and the Middle Ages and uh, around the time when there were a lot of wars in Europe, uh, you know, between Germans and French and everything going on. And when they decided to assert dominance over each other, the women will feel unsafe. And patriarchy was a way for them to say, the men are in charge, we're all white, we can all come together under this umbrella of whiteness. And now, now that we agreed to have the men in charge, they no longer have to fight each other. We have a whole world we can conquer. And this is actually outlined and written down. That's the wildest part, is that white women wrote this down. Like everything I just said sounds unbelievable. But there's a lecture by Tommy J. Curry that we have in our Discord where he kind of like breaks it down better than I can, even because I've only just found this out maybe like 2 weeks ago about the origins of patriarchy,
Hmm.
but basically it was something that brought European ideas of power together instead of against each other. White men started to look at each other as white men and not, you're a German man, you're an Italian man, you're a French man, and F all you guys because I'm Swedish or Belgian. It was like, whoa, 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 we're all men here. So we can all get along as men. The white woman has had her thumb remote controlling white men for a long time. And yeah, it's a way for white women to make themselves seem like innocent bystanders to black oppression, to say that patriarchy is the problem, when we have more than a patriarchy. We have a white patriarchal problem, but even bigger than that, we have a white supremacy problem.
Hmm. Okay, and I'm not going too much longer. But who do you recommend that I do read then? Like what you said
Tommy
that
J.
Thomas J.
Yeah, Tommy, Tommy Curry, like Steph Curry.
Uh huh.
Man, not. He's a professor in black male studies.
Okay.
His book is comprehensive as hell and quite shocking. And honestly, I think it's not talked about enough, but it's really kind of new. But it's not talked about enough. And he says that in the book. He says black male studies is one of the least studied areas of study. We study black women, we study black people, and in books about black people, you will catch glimpses like what's it called? They Were Her Property. You will catch glimpses of black male studies, but it's an area of research that people skip over time and time again
Okay.
because of intersectionality and the idea that for some reason black women are at the bottom of society below black men. When the truth is that once you are black, you are not considered human. Once you are black, you are considered subhuman. Even today, you see the inhumane treatment of black people, both man and woman. So
Yeah,
once
you
you're
you
black,
hear about that case in West Virginia just came out? They had the black slaves, white family.
I did, right.
Yeah, it's
Once
crazy.
you are black, you are deemed subhuman. So once you're subhuman, we become prisoners of war, male and female prisoners of war. So there is different experiences, but at the same time, once you are black, you're not considered human. So we're not men and women. We try to humanize ourselves, and we recognize ourselves as men and women. But in the eyes of oppression, when we're talking about oppression, intersectionality, it's not, oh, these black women are more oppressed than these black men because these black men benefit from being a man, even though we know that the man unalives these brothers more than they unalive women. So if we benefiting from the patriarchy, his patriarchy, if we benefiting from his patriarchy, why we can't live past 65?
Hmm.
If we benefiting from his patriarchy, why is it that 1 in 3 of us in our lifetime will be incarcerated? Why is it that 1 in 5 of us are incarcerated? Why is it that we're the most incarcerated group on earth when we're living in his country, where there's the largest population of him? Black men are the most incarcerated. Black men are the most uneducated. Black men are the most least likely to live past 65 and the most incarcerated and the least employed. Where is the benefits of patriarchy? I thought patriarchy meant the man gets the job, the man gets away with the crime. I thought patriarchy meant the man gets the, you know what I'm saying, the medicines, and the good therapy and all that stuff was created for men, right? So I thought we had to study gynecology because they wasn't thinking about women. So I thought the men were supposed to get the better treatment under patriarchy. So why is it that the black man has it so bad? Because again, it's two different aspects to it. The white man seeks to subjugate black women and destroy black men because he sees us, in the eyes of his patriarchy, we're the number one threat. There's going to be one king on the hill. He's not going to share it with another man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is crazy. The amount of times that white men have unprompted talked about my genitals, just like out the blue.
Yeah.
It's like rent free. It's crazy. But all right.
60% of enslaved people that came to this country were men. 60%. That's in Tommy J. Curry's book. 60%.
Oh, shit.
So it's like we when we talk about, I'm not saying this is the oppression Olympics, of course, to the sisters out there. We're not saying that. I'm saying we in this together, y'all. I'm saying we in this together. Man and woman. Sister and brother. Comrades in surviving oppression. I'm saying we need each other, y'all. I'm not saying one person is above the other one. And any man that thinks he's above a black woman is a fool. Any man that thinks he's above a black woman in the context of some idea given to us by white women called intersectionality is a fool. He's a fool. Mixed race men are seen as more of a threat. That's a lie. That's a lie. Who told you that? Last time I checked, they ain't put mixed race men in the plantations. Last I checked, I don't know what you mean by that. What you mean if somebody's mixed with white and Asian, that they're deemed more a threat than black women? Mixed race. I need to hear what book you read, Herman. Please put your sources in the comments, please. Please put your sources in the comments. Herman said mixed race men are deemed more a threat to white supremacy. So please, Herman, if you would, I would like to know where you studied that at. Because that is not the teachings of Neely Fuller Jr. That is not the teachings of Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. That is not the teachings of Marcus Garvey. That is not the teachings of, I could just go on. That's not the teachings of Dr. Joy DeGroy, the author of Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, who said the white cop said the bigger, blacker, and more masculine a person is, the more likely they are to be deemed a threat. The bigger, blacker, and more masculine they are, the more likely they are to be deemed a threat. But also understand that the worst statistics in racism, white supremacy, the worst statistics, the people that are treated the most in the context of racism, white supremacy, are black boys. Not even black men are treated as bad as black boys. Sisters, y'all wonder when y'all are dating where all the good men at? But you forget that when you're talking about black men, you're talking about men that have trauma from surviving racism, white supremacy. Because at some juncture in their life, by the time a man reaches 30, he had run into the devil himself and had to make a choice that he might regret, in his 30s, that he had to do in order to survive. And the ones that didn't make that choice, the good ones, the ones that y'all were looking to marry, didn't make it to 30. The ones that y'all looking for to marry, these good men that y'all looking for, didn't make it to 30. I'm not saying only the bad ones make it to 30. I'm saying there's good men out there that make it to 30, but those good men out there that make it to 30 had to compromise something at some point, and then it's up to them to heal from it after that. And a lot of them don't know even how to heal. So sisters be out there dating men that's stuck in survival mode. A lot of y'all is dating these brothers, they stuck in survival mode. And they don't even know they in survival mode. A lot of brothers stuck in war mode. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the thing. I be seeing the sisters, man. I know y'all the least married group. You know what I'm saying? Black men are right behind you in that statistic. But it's a shame, It's a shame. By the time you get to 30, you have learned to compromise. At some point, you learned only way you're gonna make it is you're gonna compromise. And a lot of brothers know that good young brother or that brother that just didn't know no better that got caught up and did not make it to 30. You know what I'm saying? People say the good die young. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he just didn't know better. You know what I'm saying? He was real innocent. Got mixed up in something he just didn't know what he was doing. These are y'all husbands. These are the ones that didn't make it to 30 with y'all sisters. And that's the reason why a lot of our sisters are so unmarried. These are the brothers that even if they're not unalived, they're in jail. We got over 400,000, between 400,000 and 600,000 every year, black men in jail, in prison. Think of how many single black women there are out there. All right, I'm gonna go to the next guest. Sammy, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
He, him, dude, 61 years old, 62. I'll be 63 in October.
All right.
And I've been in your lives before, Legend, and I appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I'm going to push back a little bit
All right, talk to us.
because it's a weird narrative going on. Weird. I'm not saying you're part of the weirdness. Yeah, it might be, but you are younger. I think the recent statistic is like 36 to 38% of all black men have been incarcerated or running with the law. Is it something like that? You've heard numbers like that?
36% of black men are what?
And have been incarcerated, like you mentioned, jail and the whole 9 yards.
1 in 3 in their lifetime. But the percentage of prisoners is 35%. 35% of people in prison are black men.
Okay. Now, with that being said, when I'm talking about black men, and this is where the narrative gets screwed up, that means 65% are not. And I think the conversation should be, and I've been saying this for over 30 years, the conversation should be about those that aren't, as opposed to those that are. The glass is half filled or half empty. So when you look at it that way, it's no longer demonizing us as a black man. And I'm from New York.
It's more than 65% of black men not in jail.
Well, my numbers was based on running with the law, meaning incarcerated, meaning not been incarcerated on parole, blah, 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 blah. It's still more black men that have not been incarcerated than have been.
Yeah, I know.
And that conversation, the conversation that doesn't happen enough. That's my point.
I don't know why that's your point. I don't know what you mean.
Well, the point, the reason I bring up that point is because you mentioned about men being in jail. You said 400,000, whatever number you gave, and all those single
Like
women.
465, 450,000 black men are in
Okay,
jail.
okay. Now, what we have to understand is that black women are actually the most progressive bloc in the country. More college educated black women than black men, and we can go on and on and on. You know, I have a 26-year-old daughter, meaning incarcerated, meaning not been incarcerated. I have a 26-year-old daughter. She's in grad school. Certain women on certain echelons or want to be certain echelons are not trying to be married at a young age. So I'm a little confused on, because I came in impartial topic what I heard you say about men in jail and single women, single black men, and I'm kind of confused on why. And remember, I'm 62 years old. Why is that such a major conversation for my younger brothers and sisters?
Because because it's a problem when 6% of the population makes up 35% of the prisoners. That's a
We do
problem.
understand. We understand the prison industrial complex. We understand the systemic racism that causes a lot of it. We understand sociology 101, that people in impoverished communities are more apt to commit different types of crimes. We all know that. But it's so weird to me, and I'm a graduate from Howard University. You know, it's so weird to me that the older I get, the more I'm hearing these types of conversations. And I'm just really concerned. I want your feedback on it.
Because the problem is getting worse. I don't know what your point is, Sammy.
Well, I mean, I just made a couple of statements and to come up to ask a question. I mean, why is this
Brother, he wouldn't understand. Understand? We
Well, I'm
put
asking
in
you to
certain
explain it.
situations that we can't even get out of. Even when we do our best, they shut it down. It's systematic. It's like you can be the fastest runner, you the best speller, the spelling bee queen or king, and they shut it down. You know, it's like it's nothing we can do to be the best. We're showing you that we
Your
can
phone
be
is
the
making a
best
wild
people.
noise.
But you shut it down. They shut it down. It don't matter what we do. The cleanest guy, the cleanest quote unquote black guy, can be the best standing guy. They can't wait to shut him down. It's systematic. They don't like us. They don't want us. And that's cool. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But let us go then. You don't want to let us go. Why you won't let us go? You hate us so much. You want us to roll. You want us to go to Africa?
Mm.
You know what I mean? You got some tickets? You got some ticket money? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you want us to leave. Like, why should we leave? Why don't you leave? That's all I'm saying. We do the best. Even took our tails, the grownest men. I mean, on some James Evans type energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you be the best man you could be. But my skin is black and my hair looks like this. And that's not good enough? Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Because I'm tired of playing with y'all. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I heard that.
I'm not, yo, I hear that. 202. 202. 202. Area code. That means you from the DMV? Just taking a guess, bro.
Nah, I'm from Southeast Washington, D.C. I'm seeing
Said
this.
you from the D. Oh, you. I said 202. You from DC. I
Oh
said
yeah,
that. The
well, yes sir,
DMV.
yes sir. Hey sir. I want to say this though. Our children are acting crazy out here. I love them so much, man. You know, but the thing is that this government wants them to do that. Where are they getting these military weapons, man? With scopes and beams? Like they don't even have money to get on the bus. How did you get
Oh,
that?
yeah. Be
I know what's
careful.
going on. I know what's going on. It's a repeat. It's a repeat. I've seen it. It's a repeat. I'm trying to tell my son that. It's a repeat. He's not listening. I can only be the best man I can be, man. I'm so tired. I'm strong. I'm here. I'm so tired, man. I'm so tired, man.
Yo, TOT Dino, I'm gonna give you a follow, bro. I got you.
All right. I'm not sure what's
Yeah, I
happening
got you.
right now, but Shaka's here. Shaka, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, brother? My bad for speaking a little bit earlier. I was talking to my grandfather in the background. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Peace to the entire panel. Peace to Brother Legend. Peace to all the family in the comment section. My name is Shaka Sankofa. For those that are new, my age is 21. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm black and I'm back, baby. You know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
Free
Absolutely.
land,
Hey.
liberation, black liberation and laws for all black people across the diaspora. You know what I'm saying? Love my beautiful black sisters and brothers, and I'm ready to terrorize the others. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do all men benefit from patriarchy? Well, nah, because you see the white T supremacist patriarchy that's set up right now. See, I don't see no brothers benefiting from it. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that it's, I would say, white male patriarchy is one of the most, I would say, one of the worst things on this planet right now. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the reasons why we in this condition that we currently in right now. Because I blame white patriarchy for how a lot of things are set up right now. And a lot of our brothers see how white patriarchy, and we think that's how us as men should operate.
Right.
When that's false. But then again, everything this white man has put in our heads is damn near false. So I
You
would
missed
say,
the C Racker that came up here talking about men have always dominated in society, and men have always been in charge, and since the beginning of mankind, he said. And I was like, that's exactly what a lot of brothers think, because except we hearing it from the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying?
from the devil mouth himself.
In itself, yeah, that's where these brothers get that from. They really think men are supposed to be dominant because they've fallen for that white Eurocentric version of history where mankind started in ancient Greece.
You know, it's crazy. And for them to say that, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy because not even their own kind, their own females, like white male patriarchy. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, with the feminist movement, it wasn't meant for our women. You know what I'm saying? The white women used our women like how they always use us as cannon fodder, and made it seem. I blame it for patriarchy, and white patriarchy and white feminism is one of the systematic things I blame for trying to destroy the black family. If that makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
You got the white patriarchy, got brothers thinking, yeah, man, I should run everything. It go through me. And you got the white feminists talking about, you don't need a man, girl. You know what I'm saying? You know, systematically, you know what I'm saying, ripping apart the black family. And to make it worse, when they do that, when they rip apart the black family, then they want to throw in some jungle fever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they always do that. Like, they'll make now they got us on everybody but the black woman. You know what I'm saying? You got brothers who want these no good Miss 6 o'clock iron and boy backside straight up and straight down. Miss free of no thrills. Miss subject to have the itch humanoid caucasoid white TK. You know what I'm saying? I even seen a brother. You know what I'm saying? He dating an Eskimo. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't pushing hate against the Eskimos, but it's like, come on, black man, what you doing with an Eskimo? Come on now, with them big, beautiful black African lips and them little Eskimo lips, you know you want you some sugar. You can't get no sugar from an Eskimo. You gotta bend all the way over just to get some good sugar. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I do. The patriarchy and feminism makes way for jungle fever. So that's why us as black people, you know what I'm saying, we have to learn to liberate our minds from this systematic destruction that they created for us. And you know, you'll have some brothers like, well, it ain't right, folks. It's just the system. We gotta change the system. You know what I'm saying?
Everything black.
That's like
Everything black.
that's that's like saying it ain't the spider, it's the spider web. We gotta destroy the spider. We gotta destroy the spider web. You know what I'm saying? You destroy the system, the same no good blue-eyed dogs will create another system and create some more rules to keep you further from liberating yourself. The same way a no good white tea spider will create a web to catch some more flies. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to take down the system, you know what I'm saying? You gotta deal with
Say that.
You gotta
Say
deal
that, bro. Say that, brother. Say that.
what?
You speaking truth. Say that. Say it louder.
All right.
We hear him. We hear him, Dino.
Brother want me to
Nah, Dino, we love you, man. Dino, he just be saying stuff. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, no, I went bad. Oh, God. But yeah, if the only way you're gonna destroy the system, you gotta deal with your enemy first. You know what I'm saying? You gotta gain a knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? You gotta separate. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop thinking that they have our best interests at heart when these people have proven that they'll never have our best interests at heart. You know what I'm saying? Like if what the devil told you last time, talk about patriarchy is always ruled. Males have always been dominant in society from the beginning. Then you know what I'm saying? White T men and black men will be able to get along then. If that was the case, we'll be able
exactly, brother. Exactly.
we'll be able to get along. You know what I'm saying? There wouldn't be no need for me, him, you to be arguing 24/7. You feel me? But you know, the devil must deceive. That's what they must do. It's in their nature to be wicked. You know what I'm saying? They even being wicked to themselves. But at the same time, I try to the white tea patriarchies and the feminists, the white tea feminists, I still say they're two sides of the same coin. They'll have, you know what I'm saying, us going against each other, the black man and the black woman. Whole time they in the background just watching like, man, we can get these N-words to do anything. We can get them to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So the patriarchy does not help us, brothers and sisters. Feminism doesn't help us, brothers and sisters. All that is just more tactics they use to divide the black family and the black household. And guess what? They won't be pulling that small time stuff over on us no more. You know what I'm saying? The devil tries to come to you and try to preach patriarchy. You look him in his cold blue eyes, lime cold blue eyes, green eyes, whatever type of shade that the no good sea art racker would have. You know what I'm saying? Tell him, get thee behind me, Satan, and send him by his day. I land my plane.
All right. Appreciate that, brother. Absolutely. All right. Talk to us, Africa the Bunk. What's going on, brother? Africa the Bunk, you there?
So I was there talking with my mic on. My mic off.
My bad. Yeah.
Now I was gonna say, do you know what? Regarding gender dynamics in our community, I think where a lot of people in our community go wrong is that I think a lot of us talk about the history and like, especially the history of gender dynamics as if like we have the same history as white people. So you hear people talk like come online and say stuff like, oh, you know, we didn't have any rights until the suffragettes, you know, fought for our rights. And then they'll say stuff like, you know, women didn't have didn't have the right to work until, you know, the second wave of feminism came to fight for our right to work. Our right to work? Our freedom? Oh, there's it's so funny because like the suffragettes, if you actually look at the history and like you actually like you're not just taking these narratives like at face value. If you actually look at the history, the suffragettes still excluded black women. The suffragettes were like, hey, I know we're marginalized, but like, hey, we still have time to discriminate against you guys. Come on. Like, I know we're desperate, but we're not that desperate. That's literally what they were saying to the black. Like, these women literally needed as many bodies as they could to
So turn the
protest the
truth.
system, and they still had time to tell black women, nah, you're not invited. Likewise, this idea that like, like feminist movements fought for like women's right to work. Excuse me? You mean the black women who were already working, like that were working all hours of the day, raising your children, like white children? You talk. It's insane. Like black women have worked since the beginning of time. Like they didn't need white women to fight for them for the right to work. I think it's I think one of the issues is that like a lot of our people speak about like our gender relations in Black history as if we are white people. Like we have different histories. So like yeah, when a white person is talking about their history, like in terms of like women, like men have always ruled society. Well, yeah, if you look at like the history of Western society, like men have always dominated women, like all the way from America all the way to the British Empire, all the way to Rome, all the way to Greece. It's always been a male-dominated society. So that is true for them. It's not true for Africans. It's just not true for Africans. Like that's their history. When they say that like women were effectively just marriage cattle until like the 20th century, that's kind of true for them. That's not true for you. That's not true for me. That's like like African women have been involved in the political process since the beginning of time. African women have worked since the beginning of time. African women have had representation since the beginning of time. Half of African societies are matrilineal. Like, like rights and freedoms aren't new to the African women. They're new to Western civilization. Like, I think that is one of the key things. When we're looking at history, it's important just not to just take mainstream history of what you're taught and then superimpose that on yourself. And I think for me, one of the ways I came like to this epiphany was just looking at World War II. Because when people would tell me like go be grateful for World War II and go be grateful for these mutual racists fighting each other and then like morally positioning themselves all to be better than Germany, when the people that were fighting Germany also hated black people, I think for me, I see World War II of like a bunch of these deranged European cousins fighting each other and sufficiently weakening each other in order for for Africa and Caribbean to be able to like fast track our independence. That's how I see it, and that's the position I think black people should look at it from. Like, oh yeah, man, these are people like these European tribal wars, and through their chaotic tribal wars, they they weakened each other, and we fast tracked independence. I think that's the correct view for a black person. The incorrect view of a black person is to say, oh my gosh, Winston Churchill and Theodore Roosevelt, they fought for our freedom. That's insane. That is an insane position to take because that's not your history. And I think it's important that we look at things like when we're looking at things historically from the view of our ancestors rather than the view of someone else's ancestors.
Absolutely. That was a whole word, bro. Yeah. So one thing I've noticed when I host this live, it scares people away because it forces a lot of critical thinking. And I think usually when I host this live, it's better to teach than to have a conversation. But I always love it when brothers like Shaka and Africa Debunk come up and really just decolonize our ideas of gender and stuff like and manhood and femininity. You know what I'm saying? Because that is an issue. Through movies we've been taught to look at history through the eyes of our oppressor, and through history, being taught European history and being taught the history of Europeans, we've been taught to view only the history of our oppressor. And we forget that we had a whole different thing going on in Africa. We said that women were equal to men a long time ago. In in the 13th century, I believe the early to mid 13th century.
Hell, if it wasn't for a woman, John Jacques Dessalines wouldn't have been who he was.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for If it wasn't for a woman, Shaka Zulu wouldn't be who he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for a woman, Sister Shabazz, you know what I'm saying, backing up Malcolm, you know what I'm saying, for them to, you know what I'm saying, try to make it seem like we ruled over women, it's messed up, man. I had a brother one time out here in the neighborhood, I say, man, say the same thing that No Good Devil said, that men always ruled the world. And you know what I'm saying? I just got the name of queens. I said Nzinga, Ya Asantewa, Queen Solitude, Queen Nani, the sister who taught John Jock Dessalines, Winnie
Amana
Mandela.
Renez.
Yeah. Queen Amana Raymond, Winnie Mandela. You know what I'm saying? I can go down the list. I got a whole notes full of queens. You know what I'm saying? I mostly kept them for the FBAs when they try to say that Africans have no history. But I got a whole list of queens. If any no good cave crawling dweller want to come up here and try to challenge any of us, bring the best knowledge that you got and watch how any of these brothers up here debunk y'all. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mean to take over, brother. It's just I be seeing how these white tees do you, man. And it's like, Brother Legend is a mercy to y'all sorry behind. You know what I'm saying? Brother Legend is a man of character. Brother Legend is a man for his people. Brother Legend was sent by the ancestors. You can feel the vibration of the ancestors. Brother Legend is in tune with the universe. And you attack my spirit to big brother. So now I'm gonna go buck wild on y'all no good bastards and give y'all hell.
People better listen to Brother Legend because they won't like what comes after Brother Legend. Because what comes after Brother Legend isn't nice.
I'm at the edge. I'm right at the edge. So I'm as close to intellectualizing revolution as you gonna get. After this, you just gonna get straight revolution.
Exactly, man. Brother Legend is a mercy to they sorry behind. And as soon as y'all attack him, I get to coming. And I'm gonna give y'all hell. And only Brother Legend got the plug to make me stop. And only Brother Legend got the plug to make me stop. I don't give a damn about you no good cave crawling bastards, because I was born to give you hell from the cradle to the grave. And I hope God reincarnate me so I can give you hell again, no good bastards. I'm sorry.
I know that's
You know,
right.
brother, you know one thing that like when we're talking about like looking at history from our own perspective, even if you look at like African religions, like the idea of like one solo kind of masculine god is not an African idea. That's not like that like if you look at African like spiritualities, like God has a female counterpart in almost across the board. Like if you look at Shango has Oshun. If you look at Amadioha, he has Allah. If you look at Osiris has Isis. Like there's a female counterpart in African spiritualities. Whereas like this the idea of a single like all powerful masculine deity, that's not an African concept. And I think like is important. And I think what Shaka said is kind of important, man. I think I think Brother Legend, just from my perspective, Brother Legend is a to be honest, Brother Legend's a throwback act in terms of like what he's given people in terms of like intellectual kind of like breaking things down, like the kind of stuff that's coming after Brother Legend. Like the kind of energy that is coming like. The revolutionary energy is there, but you're not getting the intellectualism after this. Like, I
see what's going on in Kenya. I see what Gen Z is about.
Yeah, man.
Gen Z ain't having it, and they talking about Museveni next. They talking about what's his face in Nigeria?
Tinubu.
Yeah, Tinubu. Yep. Listen. Gen Z ain't having it. They not playing.
You see, we've had revolutionary change, like in Burkina Faso, in Niger, so there's man that energy's bubbling, man. So I think we should appreciate those who are still willing to sit down and break ideas down to us, because the revolutionary energy is coming.
Absolutely. The negotiators and the agitators gotta work together. We gotta work together. We got to. You know what I'm saying? Even though when it comes to white,
I would also just say I don't make my lives for them to negotiate with them. I make my lives hopefully to make more revolutionaries.
Oh no, not you, brother. I'm just speaking in general. The negotiators and the agitators gotta work together. You know what I'm saying? Like you need a Farrakhan, but you also need a Khalid Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? Or
I
you
heard
gotta
that.
you gotta have a Khalid. You got Elijah Muhammad. You better have a Malcolm, which is somewhere. You a
Yep.
two son lover till you gotta have a John Jock Dessalines. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, like even when it comes to talking about topics of racism, I do it to encourage more revolutionaries, to encourage more consciousness. That's why I close my videos. I say, my name is Brother Legend. I'm here to raise your consciousness because that's all I'm here to do. I just want to have these conversations to teach my brothers and my sisters a better way at looking at themselves and an understanding of the environment that we're in that's hostile towards us. And both Shaka and Africa Debunked have been great purveyors of that vision. And Africa Debunked, his content is always teaching. And so we're building Sankofapedia for that same mission to encourage more consciousness. We got a guest up here, Hannah. Is it Hannah? Hannah.
Hello, hi, thank
Hannah,
you.
give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm a woman, 22.
Age, race, and pronouns. So you give
20.
us 22,
I'm
your race,
22. I'm black. I'm African.
and your pronouns. If you don't got none, it's
Pronouns. I
cool.
mean, I'm a
All right.
female.
Yeah. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I came up here because of the title. It says, "Do all men benefit from patriarchy?" Personally, I don't think patriarchy is to benefit men, but actually, it's for women. Because patriarchy, it's about the protection and provision for women and children, right? So I don't think it necessarily benefits men.
That's a good take. That's an interesting take. So, yeah, even saying power in patriarchy is a benefit could be somewhat patriarchal. Because power, seeing power as a benefit is patriarchal. So that's a good challenge to the question there. Um, do you want to elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, I think patriarchy takes. I mean, not all men can provide patriarchy. Personally, as an African woman, we're not very patriarchal society. We're very matriarchal. Um, and I think that is due to, I don't know. I think African women like to be maybe too independent. You know, so it kind of maybe put the men on the back seat.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think African women like to be strong and want to hold everything down all the time, you know, and I just wish that they would sometimes just sit back and enjoy patriarchy, you know,
I
because
don't know about
obviously
enjoying it, but I hear
matriarchy
you.
hasn't worked for us at all, you know. What all it did was just, you know, it forced us to be colonized.
Hmm. Well, that's an
So that's
interesting
just
take. When we talk about patriarchy here in the West, we're usually talking about white patriarchy, and um, I understand through your lens, you're speaking of Africa and patriarchy that exists there, or doesn't rather. But even here in the United States, we are matrilineal as far as culture. When someone wants to know where you're from, like, they ask where your grandma stay. We pass down culture through the woman, largely because our men, are gone. But that's something we still hold dear from the continent. So I hear that.
yeah, that's just all I wanted to share.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. What part of Africa are you from?
I'm from Somalia. Well,
Oh,
my yeah, Somalia and Djibouti. So I'm half Somali, half Afar.
okay. Cool. Shout out to the Somalian brothers and sisters that identify as Black Africans. You know what I'm saying? We know we got some family out there. Well, appreciate you coming up, sister. I think I'm gonna take it down. Actually, you know what? I might come back. But I'm gonna go down and I'll be right back. When I close this, there's gonna be a notification bell. It's gonna appear in the middle of the screen. Tap that, and you'll be notified when I go live. I'm gonna probably just come back and maybe close out tonight with the interracial dating topic. That gets people to come up and talk. This conversation scares people because white women don't want to come up here and admit they benefit from patriarchy. Brothers don't want to come up here and learn something about themselves. Sisters, already probably know what we're talking about, but some of them might not. And you know what I'm saying? They already have their idea of patriarchy. The book that this live is based on is by Tommy J. Curry. And if you don't read books, look his name up. His name is Tommy Curry, like Steph Curry. Tommy Curry. His book is Man Not. MAN hyphen NOT, not. It's a great book, and he's done amazing work. I'll be back. One love.
Buckle up when we get back, buddy.